There we go. I think we are live. I always like to wait until I see my face appear on screen before I officially get going. There we go. I can see myself. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, what we do Monday through Friday, we stream. We cover the crypto markets. We look at silver, gold, U.S. stock markets, Japanese bond market. We're going to be looking at oil. Once again, oil has quite changed a lot of minds here over the weekend. So what we do, we cover everything, good news, bad news, and we just kind of follow the markets. Things have been very unpredictable lately, and we're going to jump into all of that in today's episode. Good morning, Dynamod, and good morning, XD3. So we'll get to oil. I'm going to start just with crypto for now. So I'm going to hit my screen share there. We can see that crypto's had a pretty decent rally over the night. Good morning, FRD. Quant is down, but basically everything else is up, which is pretty interesting because over the weekend, we'll just start out with Bitcoin, but over the weekend things were, pretty bad, and then just out of nowhere we just get this big giant boost right around 7 a.m. this morning. So, I went to bed last night. We're looking at Bitcoin around 68,000, maybe 69,000 around the time I go to bed. I wake up and it's above 71,000. So things have been pretty crazy. You almost don't know what to expect anymore. By the way, I want to just pop over to Fear and Greed. Fear and Greed is now at 34. So we saw it actually dip down to 25 over the weekend. Now it's back up to 34. If you don't know what the Fear and Greed Index is, it's a conglomerate of different tracking tools to kind of see where the sentiment is in the market. There's different factors that go into it. But basically, when things are extremely fearful, the only people buying crypto is basically like those of us here on the channel. The rest of the market, like even in my own personal life, people are saying that they don't want to buy crypto anymore. One friend even told me he offloaded some of his XRP. Everyone's allowed to make their own decisions. That was a decision that person made. Now it's gone. If they don't buy back in, they'll be gone forever. But that's just the way it is. The fear in the market has been pretty low as of this morning. Basically shot back up to 34, which is still in the fear zone, but certainly not as low as 25. Good morning, Echo and Steph. Good to see you guys in here as well. Now we'll jump back into Bitcoin. I just wanted to cover off that particular piece real quick. So we have a moving average that is definitely, this is a 1 week average that moves down despite this little pump right here. By the way, we'll get into what I think this is. I'm still gonna say, I've been saying it for a while because we're in this pretty tumultuous bear market right now. I need to see 1 week of continuous improvement before I say that the bear market's coming to an end. As long as we don't get that 1 week of continuous improvement, I'm thinking there's a good chance this actually could keep going down. So basically what we look at, I now have moved this out to 1 year, and there's some data here that we can extrapolate. So everybody knows crypto was at its all-time highs in between that June and September period of last year. There's two different price floors we've seen since then. So around November to February, we had this price floor of Bitcoin around 90,000. Now, February through March, the price floor has been somewhere around 70. I think that there is a potential here we might go down one more time. If we don't start to see things move up, I don't think it'll stay flat like this forever. We might see it actually go down, and I'd guess that Bitcoin would land somewhere in that 50 to 55,000 range. Now, of course, that means that, on this channel, we're buying altcoins. That would mean the altcoin market would get hit pretty hard by that. So, if you're looking at XRP, if this happens, expect XRP to probably jump down to around 120. Expect HBAR to go below 8 cents. Flare could go down to 007. Quant seems to do its own thing, so I don't know. You can't say what's going to happen with Quant, but this is just sort of what I'm expecting. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen that way. I'm looking for the pattern. If we see 1 week of continuous growth in Bitcoin, I'll be cautiously optimistic. And I mean, really, we actually are kind of still up 5% on the month for Bitcoin. So I guess maybe I've been a little hard on it. If we see it continue going back up, then I might be able to say, okay, maybe we're out of the bear zone. If it goes back to, we get 1 more week of continuous decline, and I know right now we're looking at a pretty significant pump in the morning, but if we see another week of continuous decline, I'm thinking it could actually end up going even more down before its eventual rise back up. Now, I do think, all things considered, if it goes down again, I think it's only going to go down 1 more time. And this is, I know some people don't like the Bitcoin cycles, but if you just look at these charts, and I'll tighten this up to around 2016 just to make the left side of the screen look a little better. Maybe we'll even tighten up to 2018. You kind of see these U-shaped patterns. So between 2021 and 2024, there was this valley where Bitcoin was kind of getting hammered. Well, if we look right here, we're kind of in the beginning of that. So October saw Bitcoin hit 125,000. If we're going back into this U-shaped pattern, and this is all based on the halving cycles, by the way, so this isn't just like pulling things out of thin air. There's a mathematical science to this. If you don't know, Bitcoin's mining rate gets halved or cut in half every 4 years. I do believe the next halving cycle is in 2028. So the price tends to shoot up, not when the halving cycle is not like on the date, but it usually tends to shoot up a few months before the halving date hits. So that would be where, late 2026 to basically 2027 is where you kind of start to see the next run up, which would kind of be like what we're seeing in this zone and then in this zone. So if that plays out the way that it historically has played out, we're probably looking at another 3 to 6 months of a down Bitcoin before it goes on its next run. And then, of course, we know the altcoins will follow. Now, there are some things that are kind of like a wild card. What's going on with the Clarity Act? It looks like it is moving forward. Last week, SEC started to kind of put some framework, some terms around the commodities market for crypto. That's all going to take in effect. By the way, since we've been streaming, I've seen XRP go from $1.44 to $1.46. So it does look like things are moving pretty fast in real time here. If these altcoins get labeled as commodities, that could be the thing that decouples the altcoin market from Bitcoin once and for all. And if that happens, it's any man's game at that point. By the way, I do see, just like Deep Dave says, we got 20 of us in here so far. Only 3 likes. If you guys could help me bump that up. The likes really do go a long way at helping the channel get spread to the rest of YouTube. Most of you guys are probably subscribers, but that does help a lot. So if you guys could like the stream, that would be awesome. Now, beyond that, I'm looking at this, you guys, this is kind of nuts. I wasn't expecting this when I went to bed last night. Looks like we're in the middle of a run. We're going to have to keep an eye on this while we stream. I don't think this is going to last. I feel like, you can pull the wool over my eyes so many times. I'm getting to a point where it's like, well, we've seen this story before. Like even last week, you get this 5% run just for it to come collapsing down. So we'll keep an eye on this. We're at $1.46 at least for now. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's about to hit $1.47. I can just see it. But we'll keep an eye on it throughout the stream. Now, I think the oil situation has a lot to do with this, and we're going to cover that. But for now, I just want to do some more coin coverage. H bar creeping on back up to 10 cents. Not quite there, but it does look like, if this trend continues, we'll see this hit. So $1.50 XRP and a 10-cent H bar seems to be what the going rate is these days. Those coins tend to kind of move together. Flare used to have about a 1 to 150 exchange rate with XRP. Now that's kind of gone down a little bit. We can see Flare is hitting some pretty all-time lows. I know there's a lot of FUD in the Flare market right now. Probably won't get too much into it, but I did see that there's some drama on Twitter. Hugo's been kind of battling the Twitter FUD over the weekend. I'm not worried one bit. I did buy back when it got down to 7.9. I felt pretty clever with myself. I was able to squeeze a buy order in right down here. Wasn't a huge amount, but hey, I can at least say that I caught the bottom. That was pretty cool. You guys, Flare officially in that all-time low range. I mean, we were covering it last week. We weren't really sure if it was going to officially hit. Sure enough, after Friday, I think, what was the 19th? That was Thursday. So Friday, we did have it. Well, Friday was around 8.3, so it wasn't really in the all-time low yet. Then Saturday and Sunday hits. I only stream on weekdays. Over the weekend, we certainly got those true all-time lows. Now, there's no argument that could possibly be made. 0.0079, truly the bottom. It has never hit that before in the history of this coin. So I wanted to kind of have like a celebratory buy. I was kind of watching it all weekend. For me, nothing's changed. I mean, the community sentiment on CoinMarketCap hasn't changed either. 52,000 votes, 86% are bullish. Nothing's changed on my part. I'm still extremely bullish about this coin. I couldn't be more happy with what they've been doing over there at the Flare Network. And that's not just because they sent me a hoodie. This is going to be... I'm looking at Flare thinking Flare might be the one that like moves almost as aggressively as XRP does when price appreciation finally starts to hit. So I'm keeping a close eye on this. I do want to get a little bit more H-bar. I want to get a little bit more quant. But I think right now I'm just going to be very aggressive with Flare. That's just my personal buying strategy. Quant moving its way up on the rankings, by the way. For the longest time, Quant was in the 60s. We're officially at ranked 58 now for Quant. It's probably going to catch Cosmos anytime now. Only behind by $25 million in market cap. Quant is a very interesting coin. It moves to its own beat of its own drum. I think in a lot of ways you could say Quant has already decoupled from Bitcoin. It doesn't really follow Bitcoin in any trackable pattern. Now, sometimes when there's a widespread market sell-off, Quant still gets hit a little bit. But Quant will go on a run even when nothing else is running. And then sure enough, everything else is ripping, and then Quant's, I wouldn't say it's going down. But over the weekend, it certainly did, right? It went from $80 all the way down to 68. So that's a $12 swing in a 48-hour period. Really actually reminds me of silver. I mean, even down to the price. I mean, actually, I had the silver chart open. Why don't we just pop into it real quick? Oops, almost clicked an ad there. So I'm on the silver chart. I mean, the silver chart actually, in a lot of ways, kind of looks like Quant's. Well, at least in the past week it has. Silver was at around $80 around the start of the weekend, maybe a little bit lower. It got all the way down, you guys, to $62. Absolutely crazy. Just like Quant got down to 69. So I know the prices aren't identical, but they do kind of look familiar to me. Everything's up this morning. We're starting to see some possible momentum shift due to the Iran conflict might be on hold. I mean, none of us really know. But Trump did have a tweet last night saying there will be a 5-day ceasefire. we know better than to take anything that's going on right now at face value. It's just, you know, a tweet doesn't necessarily mean much, but the markets have responded nonetheless. And so you'll see in the past 24 hours, there are a lot of coins that are up. Let's take a quick gander, see if any of them are up significantly. Bitensor actually hitting a monthly, is it a monthly all-time high? It's getting close. Bitensor up to 288. All-time high for the month was at 301. Of course, that's a long way away from its true all-time high, which I believe was over here at $715. Okay, we got a ways to go before we can say that again. Really, everything here is on sale. If you think about, you know, 715 being the ceiling for Bitensor, and hey, 288 is a pretty good deal if you ask me. This is on my watch list. I'm not buying it quite yet, but I probably will open up a DCA position on Bitensor in the next coming month. As you guys know, I am returning back to the daytime or the 9 to 5 lifestyle, although mine will be probably more like 11 to 7 since I'll be working Pacific hours, which is totally cool because it means I'll still be able to stream. I'll just have to move the show up a little bit earlier, but not too big of a deal. I'll be able to start dollar cost averaging the way that I would like to be doing, which is going to be very cool. I will share those details with you guys when the time is right. First, I need to kind of get back in the swing of things, so we'll cover that when the timing is appropriate. Another one I want to look at real quick, we don't talk about too often, but it's Ondo. Ondo is going to be a big player in the real world tokenization of assets. I did see some news about them earlier in the week. I want to see if I remember what it was. Yeah, they're doing a lot of tokenized assets. I think they're also tokenizing either stocks or commodities, and those are being currently traded. Forgive me if I'm brain farting on what that exact news article was, but it does seem to be in that vein, right? Right over here, Real Alpha tweets, real world assets in crypto now trade over 2 billion per day. And then Ondo is going to be getting a little bit of this. So Ondo's on the watch list as well. Now I'm going to jump over to silver and gold. You know, silver's now at 69. Over the weekend, it was down to 62. I was thinking like, okay, we're approaching a serious, almost like an economic depression. It looks like that's on hold for now. Everything changed at 7 a.m. this morning when markets started to open up. And we can see that even if I pull this thing to the hourly chart, there was this God candle at 7 a.m. Like you don't see these every day. And this is not just silver and gold. This is basically market-wide in every industry. Silver and gold both did it. Basically, all of the crypto market did it. Yeah, I'm looking at Ondo. Boom, 7 a.m. It's like 7 a.m. across the board. I mean, stock market doesn't open until 9 a.m., so this one didn't have a 7 a.m. rip, but still up 2% since it opened, and it's only been open 2 hours. Of course, we look at Brent oil. Brent oil has really gone down. It's now below 15,000 yen. And look at that candle, same thing, 7 a.m. Oil goes significantly to the downside. I mean, 13% in just 2 hours, maybe 2-3 hours. So this is kind of what we're looking at right now. I wasn't expecting this. I went to bed. When I went to bed last night, I was like, oh, I'm going to be covering an 18. I went to bed last night thinking we were going to be covering an 18,000 yen barrel per oil. Like, you know, I'm going to bed around this time. Wake up, no, it's actually 15,000. So that was a huge curveball. I'm like, oh, dang, I'm going to have to rearrange all my ideas for the day. That's just the way that the markets have been lately. This caught me by surprise. I don't know if anybody was expecting this. The one thing that stayed up, however, is the Japanese bond market hitting 2.3 for the first time in quite a while. The last time it was in the 2.3 range would have been February 9th, I believe, was the last time. Well, it's now officially over 2.3 again. This will be something for us to really just kind of keep watching. I've been thinking for a while that, you know, this bond is going to continue rising. It has. It had a little bit of pullback in February. You can see here this was the February pullback. Now it's back on the rise. If we see 2.5 before June, that'd give us about 2 months, about 2 solid months. I think we could be looking at the beginning stages of the reverse carry trade starting to really like accelerate. Now, oil dropping down to 15,000 is going to ease that part up a little bit. This still really isn't, like, in the grand scheme of things, a great price. So let's keep in mind that over the past year, it's still up about 50%, maybe even a little bit more. Since New Year's Day, this is still up 50%. So don't necessarily look at 15,000 yen oil and think like, oh, everything's back to normal. It's still definitely not back to normal. It's just not as bad as it was on Friday. Could be looking at the end, not the end, but at least kind of an ease on the war over there between Iran and Israel. We'll just have to keep an eye on things. You guys know that ceasefires in this particular part of the world don't seem to stick. So even if they've agreed to a 5-day ceasefire, according to Trump, which let's see if I can just get that. Let's just see if I can get that tweet. I'm just going to search Trump. I'm sure let's see if within 10 tweets, I bet we see it. Here we go. I mean, this is basically it, right? They want very much to make a deal. We like to make a deal too. We're getting together today. So we'll see if this ends up being true. If there is, in fact, a ceasefire. Yeah, right here. This is the tweet I was talking about. I've instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of ongoing meetings and discussions. So there we go. We're officially, the war is on hold. Hold your breath once more. That's kind of the theme that we've been rocking with here. The war might be on hold, but don't hold it against me if I say that I'm not convinced that it'll stick. But the markets, in one way or another, however you like it to shake it out, have definitely responded pretty well to this news. You know, everything that you want to grow is growing, and the thing that you don't want to grow is falling. Now, that does mean that us XRP holders are going to need to wait a little bit longer. I think this is a good thing. I think it's a good thing. This is still the accumulation zone. $1.45 XRP, much better deal than we were getting back when it was $3. And I really think that when XRP goes above $5, it's going to be too sluggish to continue accumulating. So right now, $100 will get you in close to almost 66. I mean, let's just pull out the calculator and figure it out. Right now, $100 will get you, yeah, about 69. Ooh, get yourself about 69 XRP with $100. If XRP's at $5, you're only gonna get 20. I don't even need the calculator to prove this one, but there it is. So that's gonna slow down your output by over 3 times, right? So in a weird way, unless like you need the money tomorrow, you'd almost actually prefer that we stay low for just a little while longer, keep accumulating, not only XRP, but, you know, other coins in this space as well. For me, nothing's changed. I know that last year was the year of hype videos, that everyone was talking about the $10,000 XRP. Oh, let me say this. I don't necessarily believe that it will go to 10,000 like immediately, but I think in the scheme of like, I don't know how old some of you guys are, but I'm in my 30s. By the time I'm 70 years old, yeah, I think that XRP will be well beyond 10,000. That's the, because I don't ever plan on selling my XRP. I know that there's people out there that say I'm out at 5, I'm out at 10. For me personally, I'm out at never. I'm out at never. The whole idea is to get this stuff producing yield for me. And if this is a yield-bearing asset, which it recently has become, then all I need to do is just chill on what I've got, ride the wave. Every time the price goes up, my yield will get a little bit better. And if I can live on that yield, I quite literally don't ever need to sell. So can you imagine by the time I'm 70, that's 40 years from now, 37 years from now. Can you imagine 37 years from now what the price of XRP will be? It'll probably be well beyond 10 grand. It could honestly be 100 grand 30 years from now. And not only am I going to be riding that wave, but because I've got this thing reinvesting into itself, my bags will not only be bigger in dollar amount, but I'll actually have more quantity as well. So the yield stuff is really cool. I'm very, 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 very excited about the yield. Of course, the yield would not be possible without my favorite network down here, which is Flare, which is why I'm really getting aggressive with my Flare buying, because, as much as I love XRP, imagine if Flare were to stay down for maybe another year or two. How realistic is it that you could accumulate a couple million Flare, a couple million, maybe 2, 3, 4 million Flare, and get that reinvesting into itself at 12% per year? Just to make this easy to work with, let's just say you had 5 million Flare and you're getting 12% per year. After 1 year, you've accumulated 600,000 Flare just from, personally, I'm staking. Staking's been giving me that 12%, so that's where I would personally put this. So year 1, you've got 5,600,000. Year 2, you're already at 6,272,000. Year 3, you're at 7 million. Year 4, you're at 7.8 million. Year 5, you're at 8.8 million. Year 6, let's just round that up. I think we could all agree that that's a very roundable number. If you were to continue getting 12% on your Flare and all you ever did was buy 5 million and then you kind of just took your foot off the gas and said, I'm good, I'm just going to let it ride. After 6 years, you'd have 10 million Flare. Now, I want to really ask you guys the question here. Do you really think after 6 years, Flare's price is going to stay down where it is right now? I mean, granted, we're talking about all-time lows here. Personally, I don't think so. And I'm not going to pretend I know what 6 years is going to look like, but if you were to tell me in 2032 that Flare's above $1, I would not be surprised. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yes, there really is an opportunity here that you could have $10 million of, not like fiat, but like $10 worth of assets in Flare within a 6-year period. Now, granted, that means you'd have to get to 5 million Flare. Well, if the price stays down the way it is right now, to get 5 million of them would cost you around $41,000 all in. Now, look, I know that's a pretty steep number. I'm not going to lie to you guys and say that, that's the price of a new car. So maybe you're not doing this in 1 year. If Flare were to stay down for like the next 6 months, you could be very aggressive with it, at least scoop up $1 million or $2 million. And then, I mean, you basically run the simulation we just did before, but instead of having 5 million, now you start with 2. You'd still end up with 4 million at the end of 6 years, because it's at a 12% rate. it's going to double just about every 6 years, maybe like 6 years and 2 months. You know what I mean? Because 12% doubles like 6.2. Anyways, that's the math on that. I think as much as everybody wants this stuff to hit big prices like tomorrow, personally, and I'm a very greedy individual, I'm a very, very greedy individual, I kind of want the market to stay down for maybe another 6 to 12 months, really hit that accumulation zone hard. And not just because I'm going back to work, by the way. That's partially why I'm going back to work, is because I'm looking at this opportunity and I'm like, maybe I can chase my YouTube dreams after price appreciation instead of during the accumulation zone. Because I really do enjoy doing this. I would do this for free, actually. I guess in a weird way, I kind of am doing it for free. You don't make a lot of money on social media unless you're pushing stuff like courses or like memberships, or you guys are probably all very well aware. It's like, join my course, join my this or my that. If you're not doing that, the ad revenue it's more than zero, but I'd have to be getting millions of views per video for it to actually add up. It's like you get like $10,000 for every million views. And I don't think my channel is getting a million views for a very long time. Maybe someday, but I don't want to make the kind of pushy content that would get me there. I know that this channel would be growing a lot faster if I did clickbait. I just don't want to do clickbait. If I see a clickbait video, I won't even actually watch it. Even if the content inside of it might actually be good. It's a personal preference of mine. I don't like clickbait stuff. So I don't make clickbait stuff. And maybe that's why, I'll probably never get to like 100K subs or whatever. I actually kind of prefer that. I'd rather have an audience that's engaged than to have like a large audience full of people that are just passing through. And that's kind of how I feel about that. But anyways, wrapping that back, bringing things back in. The idea is DeFi, guys. DeFi, DeFi, DeFi. In fact, why don't we go and check out my spreadsheet and see how things are doing? Which I have to be honest with you guys, I forgot to update it yesterday. So we're going to have to kind of fill in a couple of days here. Not expecting my stake reward yet, so that's going to be fine. Probably got a delegation reward, so let's pop over to the Flare.network and take a quick look. Delegate and stake. Oh, thank you, Deep. Yeah, maybe this is like something I could talk about like off topic, but I have a serious problem with the direction that social media has gone. Authenticity seems to be at like an all-time low, and it's not just, it's almost worse than that, because if you go to Twitter, almost everything you reads like a freaking AI chatbot. And so it's like, I know I'm kind of going off topic here, but I know King Karan's a real guy, but some of these posts, you can just tell by reading them that they weren't written by a person. They were written by an AI chatbot. And I just think it's extremely lazy. I don't want to interact with a content creator that can't put in the effort to just write their own tweets. I mean, you only get 140 characters, or maybe they increased it to like 300 or something, but it's not like it takes that long to write a tweet. And I just think it's so lazy. Well, anyways, let me add my rewards. By the way, you guys know I like taking my screenshots. So by the end of this, I'll make this a file that someday I'll share this out, and it'll just be free content, and you can do whatever you want with it. You'll have read-only access, but it will be better than no access. What do we got here? 55.89. So if this continues, kind of interesting here. It looks like we've had 4 epochs in a row that were 55, 55, 55, but they're getting a little bit bigger. It makes me think, am I getting a little bit of compounding rewards going on in here? I think so. I'm going to officially hit that claim button. Very happy, you guys, with staking. Very happy. Of all the things I'm doing right now, staking my flare has been my favorite. And staking my flare is what I'm doing on my main wallet, by the way. I'm doing all this stuff. All this other stuff I'm doing here, all for experimental purposes. But then you go to my main wallet, I'm just staking. I am just staking. I've been very happy with the output so far. So let's see, wrap flare balance, 51,122. So 51,122. Oh, let's do it down here. 51,122 dot what? What was that? It's 0.79. Let me just back these up. Sorry. Oh, I don't want to be 0 either. Let's just, there we go. Now the collateral pool, I've not really been that thrilled with. Part of it is that the collateral pool is on the AU agent. And I think the AU agent might just not have as big a yield. So it just hasn't really been that lucrative. Which tab? Where'd it go? So I've only gotten 389 flare almost 2 months into this. I would have kind of expected this to be a little bit more than what it is. Wait a minute. Oh, I put this in the wrong box. Okay, there we go. Now sometimes I forgot to log in here, so there's a very good chance that there were some like residual amounts. I get like 0.10 a day, so just going off what I know, I'm just gonna punch these in here just so they're not blank. So that's gonna be my collateral pools. Let's see how I'm doing with my FXRP reward. I wonder if it's going up. Well, you know, it is actually going up pretty nice. I'm up to 0.64, which is actually a pretty significant jump. I had a feeling that might be the case because of the minting that's been going on. We're gonna look at that really quickly after I punch these in. I tend to get about 0.01 of these a day. You can see if you look, that's almost like 1 a day, like to the dot. Jumping back over here, there's 136 million FXRP that's been minted, which is, I don't think that's a insignificant amount of money, guys. That's about $200 million that's currently out there in FXRP. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom, like, oh, the flare token's down. You guys, this stuff is so brand new, and it's already got $200 million in here. Just give it time. I think this is going to be a very big deal. And I'm just looking at this this chart here. We're gonna see this thing keep jumping up. Firelight has actually gotten pretty, it's almost at the cap. It's at 51 million FXRP. I think it'll probably slow down from here on out, so maybe we don't hit this 65 million right away. I'd like to kind of extend my position on this, just not this month. I think next month I might stick another 500 in there. Of course, that means I got to go out and get 500 more XRP. I don't have a problem with doing that. I will just need some additional time. Let's see about. Steph said, saw a video about gold and silver ratio since 1913. Usually a ratio about 20 to 1, but had a huge spike around 100 to 1, only 3 times just before World War II, before World War I, World War II, and then the pandemic in 2020. Ooh, now that could be a whole conversation in itself. I honestly do think that we could be looking at like a long-term global conflict. I guess you could say we're already in it. Russia and Ukraine's been a couple years now. We got the Iran and Israel. If China takes over Taiwan or like tries to invade it, that'd be 3 ongoing wars, you know, in different sectors of the world. I would say that's probably pretty close to saying, hey, all bets are off. Like the world is at war again. I'm just going to log these real quick. I wish there was a better way for me to copy and paste. Now, I know if I had Microsoft Excel, I could copy these and paste them. And you could, there's a little button that would say like keep the formatting the same. Oh wait, maybe it does. Hey, okay, well then, all right. There used to be a time this little drop down wouldn't appear for me. So that's good to know. Okay, well, that's gonna save me a lot of effort then. Now I apologize. Over the weekend, I did not. I'm usually good about checking this thing every single day. Over the weekend, I just didn't. That's the honest truth. So I missed a couple days, but just running off the patterns, my kinetic goes up by about 2 every day. The kinetic reward I should be able to claim soon. I haven't been able to claim it yet. I've generated 0.02 FXRP, by the way, which is nice. So I can now put a 2 right there, which is cool. Can do that for the first time. Now let's see. Is there a time frame for when I can claim this thing? Okay, so I still can't claim. I think Iman said that it's once a month. So if the cycle reward was here, I could hit 260 flare with the 50,000 I've put in so far. Just compare that to the collateral pool. I've only been in kinetic. How long have I been in kinetic for? I've been in kinetic for 2 weeks, and it's already almost outpacing the collateral pools. Collateral I have not been that impressed by. But I guess you also have to factor in it's generated nearly an XRP for me. So maybe I'm being hard on it. I see a good question from Dunder. While I pull up Mystic, for those of you guys that know, I'm doing a little bit of a cut here. It happens to me every winter. For the past 33 years I've been alive, I always put weight on in the winter. Thankfully, I've devised a way to get that weight off very quickly. I can do it. Well, I've perfected this thing. I've done it a couple times now. It works every time. In fact, I get better at it every time because I think about it less. So these days I just run the play. Like I've memorized the steps, and basically what it is, I call it the bacon diet. Let me just make sure I punched everything in. Ooh, I went 1 day too far here. Hold on. I went 1 day too far on the XRP side. So basically what you do for the bacon diet is I will eat between 2 and 3 pounds of bacon every single day and nothing else. Hold on, let me hit this thing and then I can wrap these thoughts up a little bit more when I'm not distracted here. All right, so bacon diet. We're going to do a little intermission now that I've punched in my spreadsheet. So for the next, I'm 1 week in. For probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm eating nothing but bacon all day long. And I'm actually not eating it that frequently at this point because I don't really need to. Once you get into ketosis, you don't really get that hungry anymore, which is actually really cool. I'm keeping my calories probably around 900 to 1200, depending on how much fat is still on the bacon by the time it's done being cooked. So that is like extreme calorie deficit, like extreme. I'm burning probably 3 or 4 pounds of fat per week while I do this. Definitely not sustainable. This is definitely not a lifestyle. I kind of look at it the same way you might look at like going to, now I wasn't in the military, so I'm not going to pretend like I was, but it's probably very similar to like going to like Army, like Ranger school or doing the Delta walk or going to Buds or whatever, in that like, okay, I'm doing this really, really aggressive diet you can't possibly survive on. But the key reasons that it works is that it gets you into ketosis extremely fast, so then you don't get hunger pain, which is a big thing. When you're trying to lose weight, if you get hunger pain, you'll eventually give into it. So if you don't have the hunger pain to begin with, you can kind of just keep kicking that can down the road, which I'm doing right now. I'm only having around 1,000 calories, maybe 1,200 per day. But then the bacon also is really salty, so it helps keep your electrolytes up so that you don't get like excessive brain fog. Now my training is still like pitiful, so I'm not able to train the way I normally would, you know, big shocker. But that's not really the point right now. The point is just to lose the weight. I was 217 when I got off the plane from my trip to North Carolina. Now you gotta imagine I was bloated, you know, drinking all weekend, eating all kinds of crap. I'm down to 209 today. So in 1 week, I've dropped around 8 pounds. About 5 pounds of that's probably water weight, and around 3 pounds of that is probably fat. So I probably won't have any more weeks of like 8-pound swings going forward for the next couple of weeks. But as long as I stick to the program, which I probably will, since, you know, I've done this a few times now, I should be down to around 200 pounds probably by the middle of April. Maybe even sooner than that, because I'm around 209 right now. So I'd say about mid-April, I'd be around 200. You know, I'm 5'11 and a half, so I round up to 6 foot. I just say 6 foot. I'm 6 foot. For me, 200 pounds be very lean, considering, you know, I also kind of lift a lot. So right now my lifts are pretty weak. Kind of makes sense when you're in ketosis. You're just not that strong. As soon as I'm done, I can go out and carb load, and I'll be able to I'll be as strong as I ever was. I'll just be like 15 pounds of fat lighter. End goal, try to land somewhere around 10 or 11% body fat. You know, spring and summer is coming up, so I wanted to reduce the body fat for those summer social months. You know what I'm saying? Here in the north, when it's winter, you don't really go out much, so it's like, who cares? You're just playing video games on the weekends, or you're watching football at someone's house. Once summer hits, you know, boat parties, patio bars, concerts, music festivals, you know. Gotta do what you gotta do. Steph asks, I know you like flair for staking, but if we are in a country where we can't stake it, man, I'm not liking Europe right now. Would it still be worth it buying without that option, asking for a friend? I would still be buying it because I know that Hugo he's got an English accent, so I gotta imagine he's originally from England, although he technically lives in Dubai. But I have to imagine staking will eventually be allowed in the United Kingdom. I have to imagine. Even if it doesn't, I think because what we're doing here with Flare, the price is eventually going to shoot up. I mean, that's really unfortunate if you're not able to stake. But you could be buying Flare based on its price appreciation alone, because I really do think, you guys, that someday, and I don't know when, but I really do think that Flare is going to be over $1. Hopefully we have to wait at least another year or two so that we can all just keep stacking hard. But there will come a day in all of crypto, not just Flare, but in all of crypto, where the accumulation zone is over, and you've got what you've got. Maybe you got 10K XRP. XRP goes to $50. Well, you're probably going to be at 10K XRP for the rest of your life, unless you sell. Goes to $100, so that it just keeps getting further and further away. It'll get to a point where you might get 1 XRP from paycheck money, and so at some point the accumulation zone is going to come to an end, which is why I'm looking at this and it's like, yeah, I know everyone's kind of like, you want the Lambo now, you want to be able to go get the OF model girlfriend or whatever. I was just like, dude, just put all that on hold and just accept the fact that you're gonna have to grind it out a little bit longer. I mean, if you don't need the money tomorrow, this is the time to just keep your head down, keep going to your day job, stack up as much as you can, because there will come a time, you guys. I mean, it's only a matter of time. If you know where all of this is going, I thought about this over the weekend. There was at one point almost $4 trillion in crypto. When would it have been? Oh, there was 4 trillion. Back in October, there was over $4 trillion in crypto. Guys, that's a lot of freaking money, you guys. $4 trillion is really, you can't wrap your head around what $4 trillion even looks like. It's just, you just see a 4 with a T next to it. That is a lot of money. A lot of money is in crypto. A lot of it already. And even right now when it's bad, it's still at 2.4 trillion. That's a crazy amount of money. This thing, I don't want to say it's too big to fail, but you have to think that there are a lot of parties out there that are very, very invested in crypto succeeding. And I don't mean just Coinbase and Uphold and all these exchanges. Like, crypto is quite literally going to succeed because, like, at this point it has. I don't want to say it has to. It'll succeed because there's too much momentum pushing crypto forward for it to fail. People, look, I'm just some guy who lives in a neighborhood who bought a microphone and a camera. I'm otherwise just a neighborhood guy. There's people out there infinitely more powerful than me that are going to make crypto succeed. I'm basically just a mosquito that has latched onto a mammoth, and I'm just riding the wave until I get trapped in amber. You know what I'm saying? Like Jurassic Park type shit. But I'm never going to be the guy that made crypto succeed. I'm just here. I'm just buying the things. The powerful people behind it are going to make sure that it succeeds. There's trillions of dollars already in it, despite the fact that it's been basically cut in half over the past 6 months. Next couple of years, things are going to move on chain. Hyperliquid's going to make it so you can buy stocks at the bar for the first time ever. The crypto is basically stock market 2.0. There's going to come a time when people that buy stocks are going to be buying them on a crypto ledger or on chain, and they're not even going to know the difference. Like, you're going to go to your brokerage. I want to buy some Coca-Cola stock, and you're going to fill out the buy order, and you're going to do your market order, and you're going to buy 10 shares of Coca-Cola, and without even realizing it, you've actually bought a digital token It's just going to be the Coca-Cola version of that digital token, and it will settle on a ledger that we already have heard of. It could be Hyperliquid, it could be Hedera's Hashgraph, it could be the XRPL, could be any of the three. It'll probably be split. You know, they're going to compete with each other for that market capitalization there. But the long story short of it is everything's going to be on chain in the next 5 to 10 years. You just got to ride the wave, kind of chill a little bit, and accumulate like crazy, because I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm hoping it lasts another 3 to 6 months. Just grab what you can get, and then once this thing starts to rip, it's like, all right, foot is off the gas. Go out and get that surf and turf lobster and steak dinner. Go to Ruth Chris. Treat yourself nice. I know a lot of us in crypto have probably been stretching ourselves pretty thin for at least the last 2 years. At least I have been. Go out and enjoy life. Once price appreciation starts to hit, you don't really need to accumulate anymore. You can go out and enjoy life a bit. But until that day comes, keep your head down, keep grinding. If you have a job, don't quit it. Don't do anything that's going to get you fired. Just show up. Yes, sir. Yes, boss. Get your work done. Because right now, let me tell you guys, you know, I'm a little soapbox here. I was in the consulting space for 10 years. Came to an end last April. Well, it's March of 2026, and I've been kind of derelict ever since. I did a 6-month contract last year from April to November. It was never going to be long term. It was always 6 months and you're done. I have applied like absolutely crazy, and I'm coming from a consulting background, so it's like you'd think that those are like easy job, well, not easy jobs to get, but you'd think that resume would travel well. It's just indicative that like the job market is bad right now. Now I'm getting back to work, but I would not recommend, if you can avoid being unemployed, especially look, if oil goes back up, you don't want to be unemployed if oil goes back up. Do whatever you can to stay alive, because like it's tough out there. And I just saw a comment from Stab. New hybrid channel, Keto Crypto. I have kind of thought about, what if over time I branch out into more of like an all-purpose lifestyle? Like, you got to have your finances together, you got to have your fitness together, and you got to like put them all together. Because I actually do believe there's no point in being rich if your body is a prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no point in being a millionaire and having like 25% body fat, and your body can't like move very well. You know, you want your own body to feel like a sports car. So yeah, you got to enter cryptosis. By the way, I would never do keto if I'm trying to improve my fitness. I'm only doing keto to lose the fat. It's a means to an end. I've done keto for years. I did a bodybuilding show on keto, and as soon as the show was over, I went and ate ice cream and cookies and all that stuff. It's just to get lean. That's it. The lifestyle of being on keto sucks. Like you can't go out and socialize very well. Like, how often have you been out in a group setting and everyone's like, let's go get a pizza, and then you're that keto guy that's like, oh, I'm just gonna get the Caesar salad with the vinaigrette dressing. It's like, dude, why are you doing that to yourself? Just do my bacon diet for 3 weeks, get lean, and then like enjoy your life after that. I can do the bacon diet probably 2 or 3 times a year and stay in the 10 to 15% body fat range for the rest of my life, and only have to diet maybe 6 to 10 weeks a year. The rest, it's not like I'm going willy-nilly and having like cake for breakfast or whatever. But you know, if it's a Saturday night and people want to go out and get a couple Miller Lights, and whatever food the bar serves is what I'm going to have. And I can still stay pretty lean and just hit that bacon diet. If you guys want to see the, where is it at? I'm gonna show you guys. If you guys want to know everything there is to know about the bacon diet, I'll post a link to it. I've delisted these videos, but they're still on my channel. I have them in this playlist. It's which one would it be? Well, there was the bacon mini cup. I don't think I put it in that one. I think I put it in the nutrition one. Let's see. Man, my thumbnails used to be terrible. This was a good one. This one doesn't explain how it works, though. I had one that, yeah, okay, this one might be it. But I think there was an even... I think it did one that was like super long, but it went over literally every detail, like the science. Here it is. Yeah, this one. It's 36 minutes, but it goes over quite literally everything that you'll need to know. A video actually did pretty well, by the way. 7.5 thousand views. The thing is, if I were to have this on my channel and it wasn't delisted, the algorithm would like nuclear bomb my algorithm, because they're going to be like, well, is this guy crypto or is he dieting? So if I was to go back to making diet videos, I'd probably have to do a spin-off channel. But it takes a long time to make videos, so I have to be thoughtful about what I make, because streaming is easy. I hit the stream button, I just talk, and then when I'm done, I turn the stream off, and like I don't have to do anything. Making a video, you've got to shoot it, then you've got to edit it. Editing can take a while. Then you have to export the, exporting the file takes a while. Then uploading takes like 10 minutes, and then you gotta go through, and it's like, oh well, if I want to make any money on this, I gotta go, and you guys want to see this stuff? I gotta go to my studio. Where is it? I gotta go to my videos, and then it's like, oh, well, I want to make some money. I don't want to just not make money. So I got to go to my monetization. I got to go to manage ad slots, and I got to go and stick ads in here. And if there's any sound bite at all, the ad won't get saved. So it's like turns into this stupid game where it's like, can I find a sliver where there's no sound and stick an ad there? And it takes like seriously like 20 freaking minutes to do this. And if you don't do it, then you don't get ads at all, and your channel makes zero money. So it's like you have to do it. Kind of venting right now. Oh yeah, adding timestamps takes forever. You have to basically go rewatch your video over again to know where you got to put your timestamps in. There's just a lot that goes into making a video, that if you're gonna make something, you got to be like, all right, this video has to be worth like 4 hours of like non-stop work. Because when I do a video, I shoot it and I get it all the way to post in one sitting, and if I don't, it's not going to get done. So I usually had to commit about 4 or 5 hours of like uninterrupted YouTube time. Now some videos are really easy to like I can shoot this thing in less than 2 hours, because it's what I do in my live stream every day. So like I can rip through it without stuttering. If I don't stutter, the editing is like super fast. If I'm stuttering, interoperability is when you have two networks that can interoperate, and it's like, dude, you spend the next hour cutting sentences like, oh man, I mispronounced this, or I like lost my train of thought, so I gotta take this 30 seconds out. It takes a long time to shoot videos. That was me venting, but I guess that's kind of why, like, if I was going to go back to doing keto stuff, it'd be really nice if I just had someone who would just edit all my videos. I'd just shoot them and send it to them and say, here, I like my hairstyle right there. Maybe I should go a little bit shorter. I think it looks good right there. I've been kind of going for a little bit longer on top, so I can just sort of see how it looks. But I kind of like it when it's short like that. He's dieting as a result of investing in crypto. Yeah. You know, when you're dieting, you don't spend as much money, man. You don't spend as much money. I got to cut so I don't spend so much at the sushi buffet. I don't even want to tell you guys about that one. Hey, what's going on? Rated? Haven't seen it yet. Glad to see you popping back in. Oh, yeah. Steph says, is that why you stopped saying anonymity to help with editing? Yeah, there's certain words I actually avoid because I know if I say them and screw them up, I'll have to spend like 5 minutes. Because what happens is you say it, but then you get it wrong. So then you say it a few more times and you get those wrong. And when you're in post-production, you don't remember where you got it right. So it's like, I got to listen to all of these mistakes until I find when I finally got it right. And then I got to stitch it to the sentence. It's way easier if you can just not make mistakes and you just shoot the video and post it. Oh, by the way, Mystic right now at a 3.5 or 3.15% APY. Not the greatest. Ooh, Kinetics a little bit ahead at 3.18. I do actually like Kinetics 9% on the flare is pretty sweet. Oh, and I never looked at Scepter today. I think I have it saved as a favorite. Let me check. I don't like not using favorites if I can avoid it, right? Because okay, Scepter FI. Okay, yeah, this is the right one. All right, I'm gonna save this. There's a lot of scammers out there, you guys. Be careful with DeFi. You get the website wrong, and you'll get liquidated. I talked to a guy that actually had that happen to him. He thought he was going to Kinetic. Instead of there being Kinetic.market, it was Kinetic-market. They drained him of over 1 million flare, dude. I was like, oh my gosh, it's terrible, man. Right now in Scepter, you can get 11.7 APY. Very good. I mean, this is just barely less than what I'm getting with Anchor. So, I mean, this is all pretty nice stuff. Oh, my wallet's not connected. That's why I'm not seeing anything. Let me connect real quick. I'm gonna connect a root here. All right. Let's see what's going on here. So it looks like I've generated 30 wrapped flare on this thing so far. Huh. I would have thought this thing would have had more by now. Oh, maybe because it hasn't hit a real reward yet. I'm just looking through this, you guys. One thing about Scepter, and it's not a big deal, but the fact that it turns into SFLR does make it a little bit like, it's like one extra hoop you got to jump through when trying to figure out how much you've actually made. Not a huge deal, and it's very easy to like turn your SFLR back into like regular flare. So that part's not a big deal. You just hit these and it's done. It's just, I like to be able to look at it and know exactly how much flare I have, and instead I gotta punch it into this exchange rate. And I do think this tells you what it is, which is fine. It's just maybe a little, it'd be easier if it was just all one price, I guess. But currently, I have not hit an actual reward yet. Now, I do believe, as I talked with Iman, takes about 2 weeks to get your reward there. Seeing rated in the chat. How's it going, man? Glad to be back in a while. I was busy, had all the questions on paper, kept writing down, and then stuff would happen. Yeah, no problem. Jay Claver just said it's going to be a big week. Hopefully it's a big crypto pump. I haven't watched Jay Claver since New Year's. That's almost 4 months ago at this point, if you can believe it. When he got that price prediction wrong, he lost all credibility with me. I feel like if Jay Claver would have just not have done the price prediction stuff, he'd be totally fine. But I have a hard time going back to his channel at this point. That's just me personally. I'm not saying that other people can't watch his stuff. It's just every once in a while I'll click on one of his videos just to see, like, is he still doing it? And then he does, and I'm like, I'm good. This is how I kind of feel about that. We're at the hour. I'm gonna do a little bit of just some open stuff because I think there's some things out here that are interesting to me. The TSA stuff has gotten nuts. Now I don't know how I got so lucky. When I was at the airport, I was in and out like very quickly. But this is nuts, man. This is the Atlanta airport. I've seen the Houston airport's bad. LaGuardia had a plane crash yesterday. Like, what's going on with the airlines? I'm kind of glad that I'm not traveling right now. I went to North Carolina. I had 0 issues at the airport. Maybe it's because I live in kind of like no one really cares about Detroit. So maybe just no one's flying to Detroit. No one's flying out. It's just everyone there is unhappy. And like, you think of Detroit as like, not even the homeless want to be there. So it's just an empty town. No, I shouldn't be so mean to my city like that. Detroit's really not that bad. People think Detroit's a wasteland. It really isn't. It was in 2008, but it's not 2008 anymore. It's just empty. Like there's not a lot of crime in Detroit because there's not enough criminals to do the crime. It's just an empty city. So in some ways, Detroit's kind of like a low-key hidden gem because you can still get this semi-city vibe, but there's not many bums. And it's not because it's a nice city. It's just because there's no bums. Why would you be a bum in Detroit? No one's you're not getting free stuff as a bum in Detroit. There's not enough people to get free stuff from. So they go to Austin, Texas. And it's like, cool. All right. I can go to Detroit Tigers game. You got the little kids on the buckets. That's about it. You get the kids on the buckets. You're good. I go to Denver for the H-Bar conference, and I'm looking over my freaking shoulder the whole time I'm there. There's bums in the street screaming at the top of their lungs. They're like scratching at their face. I'm like, dang, man, maybe things in Detroit aren't so bad. Because when I'm in Detroit, there's certain things about the city that annoy me, but it's like I understand my environment when I'm in Detroit. I was in Denver and I was like, I don't know if I really understand some of the street people, like screaming to themselves, or I don't know. It was just like I was like looking over my shoulder the whole time, where I don't have to do that in Detroit. But it is cold here. It's not the most fun city, but it's also not the worst either. You'll probably enjoy it. If you don't mind me asking, are you coming for work or for fun? Because one thing Detroit is actually good for is sports. We've got probably the best stadium setup in the whole country. The Lions, the Tigers, the Pistons, and the Red Wings all play in the same square block, which is like unheard of. So like on any given weekend, especially in the summertime, because the stadiums get used for concerts, you might have a Tigers game going on right here, and immediately across the street would be like Luke Bryan doing a country concert. And then the concert and the game will end at the same time, and there's this little entertainment district with like the bars are just packed. It's actually really cool. But it's only cool like on the weekends. You go to Detroit on like a Tuesday night, and it's like logging into an old RuneScape server and there's no players on it, and you're just like, where is everybody? This place is empty. So that's how I feel about that. I'm trying to catch up with Rated Russian's comment here. He says, if I ignored everyone, made a mistake, well, I wouldn't have anyone to talk to or pay attention to. Sorry, I don't follow what you're saying, Russian. Steph says, never mind. Once crypto makes you a millionaire, you can move all your family and friends to another place and all still be together. That's kind of my long-term goal with crypto, is to get the financial freedom to eventually, I'm trying to think of how much I should say. I see a lot of issues. I see a lot of issues going on in the world. And the only way to fix them is to start local. So I'd like to move somewhere that maybe doesn't have a whole lot of people yet. So then I can be like, hey, if you want X lifestyle, move to Y city. And then you just build a community of like-minded people. And then since you're crypto balling, you could fund your own campaign, run for Senate or Congress in that state. And since you're crypto balling, you won't have to take any money from APAC. So you just fund your own campaign. And then one thing leads to another. And now you've got some grassroots going. You guys know where I'm going with that, right? So you need the money first. You're not going to win an election. You're never going to beat an APAC candidate if you don't have equal funding. And good, honest people don't usually have enough money to campaign. So it's like, how do you solve that problem? You got to become a crypto baller. That's the only way. That's like, you're not going to get that kind of money at your day job. Deep Dave says, daughter lives in Ann Arbor. Ooh, University of Michigan. My older brother went to U of M. He's a genius. I went to the stupid school. I went to Central Michigan. That's where people that played World of Warcraft until 2 a.m. during high school, that's the college they'd end up going to. Or at least that's where I went. It all worked out, though. I became a software engineer. XD3 says, are we getting more ETFs this week for XRP? I haven't heard anything about that. We can search it up for sure. XRP ETFs launch. If there is something, we'll see it. I'm not seeing anything immediate popping out. Haven't really looked at the ETFs in a while. We could pop into there and see how are they moving. Oh, okay. Rated Russian had a good question here. He asked, was Jake Claver lying or is he just wrong about the timing? I would actually like to know. So this is part of the thing, especially because he's sued Zach Rector, where I want to be very cautious about what I say. I don't know for certain one way or the other. All I can say is that my radar goes off. I got my wait, something's not right here. Radar goes off when I watch his videos. That's all I can say. And that doesn't mean that he's guilty of anything. It just means when I'm watching his videos, I'm like, something just doesn't seem right. Something does not. The dots aren't connecting. Now, some examples of that would be if you watch his streams, every stream that he's ever done, he's got this thing called the mastermind. And he always says that they're about to raise the price or that they're about to make it a closed group. It's been like a year and a half, dude. When's the mastermind closing? It's stuff like that is like, I don't know if I can trust this guy. And then he kind of does this weird thing where he smiles and he was like, why would I say this if I didn't know it? And then the thing he says he knows doesn't happen. And he doesn't talk about it. He'll just, it's almost like he'll ignore he'll ignore anything that could potentially be construed as him saying the wrong thing, and he just won't address it. And if he would have just stuck to stuff like the Japanese bond market and the Strait of Hormuz, I'd be fine with him. But because everything was about like, get into the mastermind, if you got 50K XRP, we'd love to have it. I'm like, why does he want your XRP so bad? I get that he's running a business. I do get that part. But is it possible, and I'm not saying he's doing this, is it possible that he makes these hype videos about price so that you'll buy XRP and then give it to him and he'll use your XRP as collateral to go invest in other things? I'm not saying he's doing that. I'm just asking the questions, and I'm just saying that I just don't trust the guy. But I don't want to get sued. I don't think he would sue me because I don't really have anything that he could take, but I guess I don't really need those problems, I guess. It's a lot of problems to have just for giving an opinion. Anyways, I'm looking at the ETFs. The inflows have kind of slowed down. In fact, the past couple weeks have been outflows for the ETF, so kind of a step in the wrong direction here, which is fine. I don't really care about the ETFs any more than I was hoping they'd cause a supply crunch. If that's not going to happen, then the ETFs to me are, you could take it or leave it. I want to have self-custody of all my assets. I have the ETF. While I was unemployed, I had no choice but to buy the ETF because I was converting my retirement accounts to the ETF so that I wouldn't have to pay penalty fees. And so that's how I continued buying XRP when I was unemployed. Once I'm back in, I'm officially getting paychecks again, which should be relatively soon, I probably won't buy the ETF ever again. And I had a purpose. I had a purpose and it served it. So it wasn't a pointless thing, but Dunamis says, please FLR hit $10 end of this year. If Flare goes to $10, I might have to disappear off the face of the earth, because at that point I'm not gonna feel safe going out in public. I'm gonna have to have hired security everywhere I go if Flare hits $10. I would love for that to happen. I think we're going to see at least a few more months worth of low prices. I think that we've still got a long ways to go before we see things start to turn around. And that's not just me being greedy because I want more accumulation. I think that dude, that's right. I did say I was going to eat a shoelace. I forget what I said I would eat. I said I would eat my hockey skate laces, but I forget what I said the deal was. I don't know if you guys can watch all my streams back. You might find it. Anyways, I think we're gonna have some more time. I'm not convinced that the war is over. I know that oil has responded to Trump's tweets. You get that crazy. I mean that is a red candle, right? But it's already kind of moving back up a little bit. Let's just see where things go. I think we've got some time left before it. I'm still not convinced. When I went to bed last night, I thought we were going to be entering a new bottom for crypto. I'm still not convinced that that's not going to happen, even though we've got this God candle at 7 a.m. I still think let's see where things go the rest of the week. I'm not buying it. I think we're going to see this go back down one more time. And I don't think that the ceasefire is going to happen either. It's just maybe I'm a pessimistic. Maybe I'm a pessimist. It's just how I'm feeling about it. I don't think the ceasefire is going to last. So I'm going to pop over to Twitter to see if there's any last minute things to check out. And if there's not, then we'll wrap up for the day. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know what this is, but that was interesting. I just want to see if there's any last minute news that we might want to hit. And nope. You know, sometimes, what is this? Oh, this is kind of funny. Thad Castle, or Reacher. I know him as Thad. He's in the news for beating the dude up yesterday. Twitter's just always got random stuff that has nothing to do with my algorithm, even though I tried to make it crypto focused. It's just all kinds of stuff now. Ooh. Definitely liked Warcraft 3. Good game. I play a lot of StarCraft. Sometimes you guys might notice on Discord it says I'm logged into StarCraft. I've been playing it maybe a little bit more than I should be lately, but you know, I'm gonna be going back to work here in like a week, so I was kind of like, let's just game really hard and get it out of my system so that, you know, I'm not gaming while working. I've gotten pretty good at StarCraft, by the way. Maybe I'll stream it sometime. If I was to stream video games, I'd probably do it under a different channel name, but could be something. Yeah, Alan says, remember you had that one Halo music in the background. I was playing all the Halo games on Legendary, and I forgot to close the game one night, and I turned the computer off, but the game was still on. It was on a pause menu for, it had to have been like 10-15 minutes of me streaming, because I don't stream with the headphones on. You know, I got them. They're right here, but I don't stream with them on because I feel like it's, I don't want to say unprofessional, but it kind of looks goofy to have a bunch of headphones on, in my opinion. Okay, last question. I'm going to let you guys get going. Rated Russian asks, if you had $2K and you can buy XLM, XRP, and HBAR, or just one of them, how would you spend the $2K, buy one asset, or to get a book? So here's what I would do if I found $2,000. Not financial advice. What I would do, and personally, I'd probably go 40% into XRP. I know you want to have XLM, so I'll let you have it. I would probably go 40% HBAR and then 20% XLM. Now, if I were to do it and I found the $2,000, I would change it up a little bit. I'd go 40% XRP, maybe about 40% Flare, 10% HBAR, and 10% Quant. That's probably what I would do. And if I wanted to get some TAO, which I've been thinking about, maybe I'd slash XRP and Flare down to 35%, so I could add 10% to TA0, which would basically be 35 XRP, 35 Flare, 10 HBAR, 10 Quant, 10 TAO, and that would, by the way, be percentages, not dollars. That's kind of how I would do it. But that's just me. If you don't believe in Flare the way I do, you should only buy stuff you believe in. Because I could be completely wrong about Flare. And if I'm wrong about Flare, I'll own up to it, but I'd hate to make someone else lose money because I was super bullish on something and you know what I mean? So to make sure that you understand what it is you're buying before you get it. But these AI videos are nuts, dude. Oh, okay. Well, that's enough Twitter for now. We're going to stop with the Twitter for the day because it's getting a little crazy on there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. By the way, I don't have a start date officially yet, but I think my start date is going to be on March 30th, which would be next Monday. Once I have my official start date, I'm going to figure out, I'll probably move this stream to 9 a.m. I could either stream in the morning or stream at night. I think I'll stream in the morning because it seems to be a little bit more pertinent, you know, like markets are opening, like these, like, seems like 9 a.m. is just a better time for this type of content. I just need to see like what time will I start my day job, because then I'll have to kind of like tinker around with that. So should be able to do that I just need to figure out, if I don't start next week, I'll keep doing 11 a.m. If I do start next week, I might move it up to either 9 or even 8. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I could stream at night, but then I'd lose those of you that are in Europe. With that said, guys, I'm going to start wrapping this thing up. If you haven't already, you can join the Discord. I'll post the link to it real quick. If you have not joined the Discord, feel free to hop in. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.